They wag, they cuddle, they follow you everywhere. Yet even the most devoted dog remembers the hurts you never knew you caused. These moments mark your dog forever, no matter how much they love you. Number 10. Breaking sacred sleep. You spot your dog peacefully curled up, looking absolutely adorable. The temptation feels irresistible. Just one quick photo, maybe a gentle pet. Most of us have done this without thinking twice. For your dog, this moment represents the ultimate vulnerability. During sleep, they completely surrender their safety to your protection. Dogs in the wild would never expose themselves this way, except among completely trusted pack members. Your sleeping dog has essentially placed their life in your hands. When you disturb this sacred space, even with loving intentions, you violated something profound from your dog's perspective. Their brain immediately floods with stress hormones, activating the fear processing part of the brain. This creates a tiny hairline fracture in their sense of fundamental security. You might notice subtle changes after repeatedly waking your dog. Maybe they stop sleeping deeply in your presence. Perhaps they become more vigilant, constantly reopening their eyes to check their surroundings. Your home should be the one place where your dog feels completely safe to lower their defenses. Breaking this contract of protection erodes their ability to ever fully relax. Dogs who experience chronic sleep disruption develop hypervigilance that can manifest as jumpiness, difficulty settling, and even sleep disorders. The damage accumulates so gradually you might not connect it to those innocent wake-ups. Meanwhile, your dog silently learns they must always keep one part of their brain alert, because complete vulnerability isn't truly safe around you. Next time you see your dog peacefully sleeping, consider giving them this gift instead. Stand guard over their vulnerable moment. The bond you'll build through respecting their boundaries runs deeper than any cute photo opportunity. Number 9. The poisoned invitation. You grab the leash, your voice rising with excitement. Let's go. Your dog races over, tail whipping with joy. But today you're not heading to the park. You're going to the vet. This common scenario plays out in homes everywhere. You use your enthusiastic, fun things happening voice to get your dog excited, then lead them into something unpleasant. Dog behaviorists call this a poisoned cue, and it damages trust on a neurological level. Patricia McConnell, renowned animal behaviorist, discovered something fascinating about this pattern. When dogs experience this betrayal, their brains create a specific neural pathway linking your happy voice with potential threat. Each time you repeat this pattern, you strengthen this pathway, teaching your dog that your enthusiasm might signal danger. The damage extends beyond that specific phrase. Your dog's brain begins analyzing all your communications with new suspicion. Their mental resources shift toward constant assessment of your reliability rather than enjoying your connection. Even during genuinely positive interactions, their brain is in a state of perpetual wariness. You'll see the effects in subtle ways. Your dog might hesitate slightly before coming when called. Their response to your excitement might include quick glances for escape routes. These small hesitations accumulate into a relationship defined by caution rather than trust. The solution requires consistency and honesty. Save your excited voice exclusively for genuinely positive experiences. For neutral or potentially stressful situations, use a calm, matter-of-fact tone. Your dog will quickly learn that you communicate transparently, allowing them to predict their world accurately through your signals. This small adjustment rebuilds neural pathways based on reliability rather than suspicion. Your dog can then devote their mental energy to enjoying your relationship instead of constantly analyzing whether you mean what you say. Number 8. The vulnerability violation. You've just filled your dog's bowl with dinner. As they lower their head to eat, you decide to straighten their collar or give them a quick pat. From your perspective, a small gesture of affection. From your dog's perspective, a profound boundary crossed. Eating represents one of the most primal vulnerability moments in your dog's day. Their head is down, their senses focused on food, their guard completely lowered. In the wild, this position would make them susceptible to attack. Exactly why wolves eat in precise hierarchical order with others standing guard. Research from the University of Bristol shows that dogs who experience disruption during meals develop a specific type of stress response. Their cortisol levels remain elevated for hours afterward, sometimes days. Even more telling, these dogs maintain muscle tension throughout their meals, never fully relaxing into the experience of eating. You might notice the impact through subtle signals. Your dog may eat more quickly than necessary, gulping food without enjoyment. Some dogs show food aggression, not because they're guarding the food, but because they're anxious. They expect someone to interrupt them, so they act defensive in advance. Similar reactions happen when your dog poops or pees because at that moment they're completely exposed. Canine ethologists have documented that wild canids intentionally move away from the group to relieve themselves, a survival behavior linked to their most defenseless moment. Watching your dog during this process, even with practical intentions, creates cognitive dissonance between their instinctual need for privacy and their domesticated reality. Building trust means recognizing and respecting these vulnerability moments. Place your dog's food bowl down, then step back completely. Allow them to eat in peace, knowing you're protecting this vulnerable time rather than intruding upon it. Similarly, give them space during elimination. Looking away communicates respect for their dignity. These small adjustments demonstrate your understanding of their canine perspective. Your dog will respond with deeper trust, knowing you recognize and honor their need for safety during their most vulnerable moments. Number 7. Single event trauma during fear periods. Your 7-month-old puppy startles at a passing skateboard. You tug the leash firmly, forcing them forward while saying, "It's fine," in a frustrated tone. The moment passes quickly, and you think nothing more of it. Your puppy, however, just experienced something neurologically life-changing. Dogs go through distinct developmental fear periods, windows where their brains are especially sensitive to negative experiences. Research published in scientific reports demonstrates that during these periods, a single frightening event can create permanent neural pathways, what scientists call single-event learning. The mechanism works like this. During fear periods, your dog's brain floods with stress hormones that dramatically enhance memory formation. Simultaneously, their amygdala, fear processing center, forms strengthened connections to their hippocampus, memory center, creating what scientists call fear memory consolidation. These memories become resistant to extinction, meaning they don't fade naturally with time. Dr. Jen's dog blog documents that dogs who experience forced exposure during these sensitive periods don't simply develop fear of the specific trigger. Their brains form broader associations, linking the entire context, including your presence, with danger. The experience gets wired into the brain, forming a lasting association that's hard to reverse, even with extensive retraining. The tragedy lies in how easily preventable this damage is. These critical periods occur predictably around 8 to 10 weeks, 6 to 8 months, and sometimes again around 12 to 14 months. During these windows, your dog needs gentle exposure to new experiences with the freedom to retreat if uncomfortable. When your dog shows fear during these periods, the right response transforms their development. Step back, create distance from the trigger, and allow them to observe from safety. Their brain then encodes a powerful positive message. My human protects me when I'm scared. This creates trust-building neural pathways instead of fear-based ones. Pay particular attention to your dog's body language during these critical periods. Subtle signals like whale eye, showing the whites, lip licking, or freezing indicate fear beginning to escalate. Responding with protection rather than pressure during these moments literally reshapes their developing brain in ways that build lifelong confidence. Number 6. The neural imprint of inconsistency. Monday, you allow your dog on the couch. Tuesday, you scold them for the same behavior. Wednesday, you're too tired to care either way. This pattern seems minor. Just normal human variability. For your dog, it creates a profoundly damaging psychological state. Research from Sweden's Linköping University revealed something shocking. Dogs with inconsistent owners showed higher cortisol levels than dogs who experienced consistent negative treatment. Their study measured stress hormones in dogs living with 3 types of owners: consistently positive, consistently strict, and unpredictably variable. The dogs with unpredictable owners developed the most severe stress-related behaviors and health issues. The neurological explanation involves your dog's prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for predicting outcomes and making decisions. When facing inconsistency, this region becomes hyperactive, yet ineffective, constantly trying to detect patterns that don't exist. This creates a state cognitive scientists call learned unpredictability, the understanding that no matter what choices they make, outcomes remain random. You might notice the effects through subtle changes in your dog's demeanor. They may seem hesitant before every action, checking your face repeatedly for clues. Some dogs develop displacement behaviors, repetitive actions like excessive licking or spinning that release nervous energy when they feel uncertain about expectations. More concerning, this state eventually evolves into learned helplessness. When your dog concludes their actions don't predictably influence their world, they may stop trying altogether, appearing well-behaved while actually experiencing a form of canine depression. Creating consistency doesn't mean becoming rigid or perfect. Simply establish clear, simple rules and enforce them predictably. If the couch is sometimes acceptable, create a specific cue that indicates when it's allowed. This gives your dog the precious gift of predictability, the foundation of psychological safety. Your dog thrives when they can accurately predict their environment through your consistent guidance. Their mental resources shift from anxious monitoring to relaxed enjoyment when they understand the stable patterns of your shared life. Number 5. The trauma of aversive training. The electronic collar feels like a simple solution. Your dog pulls on the leash, you press the button, they stop pulling. Problem solved, right? The neurological reality tells a disturbing story about what's happening beneath the surface. Research from the University of Lincoln compared dogs trained with e-collars versus positive reinforcement. Their findings were clear. E-collar trained dogs showed elevated cortisol levels and behavior patterns consistent with chronic stress, even when trained by professionals following manufactured guidelines. More concerning, these dogs performed worse on training tasks than positively trained dogs, despite the supposed effectiveness of aversive methods. The damage occurs through a neurological process called learned helplessness, first documented by psychologist Martin Seligman. This condition develops when an animal experiences inescapable discomfort. Their brain concludes that resistance is futile and they stop trying to avoid the unpleasant stimulus. This appears externally as calm or obedient behavior, while internally representing psychological shutdown. The 2020 Portuguese study of 92 dogs revealed that aversively trained dogs scored significantly higher on pessimistic cognitive bias tests. This means their brains had literally been rewired to expect negative outcomes from new situations. This neurological pessimism affects everything from their willingness to play to their ability to bond with new people. Most shocking, these changes can begin after just 20 minutes of aversive training. The recovery process, meanwhile, can take months or years, if it happens at all. ASPCA behavioral rehabilitation specialists report that dogs with training-induced trauma require an average of 3 months of intensive professional intervention before showing initial signs of recovery. The alternative approach preserves your dog's psychological well-being while achieving better behavioral results. Positive reinforcement creates confident, eager learners who understand what to do rather than what to fear. Their brains form associations between desired behaviors and positive outcomes, rather than between your presence and potential discomfort. Your dog's trust in your guidance forms the foundation of everything you'll ever achieve together. Training methods that strengthen rather than damage this trust create a partner who chooses cooperation because they understand and value your communication, not because they fear the consequences of mistakes. Number 4. The betrayal of restraint without consent. Your dog needs their nails trimmed. You wait until they're calm or sleeping, then quickly grab and restrain them to get the job done efficiently. From a practical perspective, this seems logical. The task needs doing, and this is the easiest way. From your dog's perspective, this represents one of the most profound violations of trust possible. Being physically controlled without warning triggers their deepest survival instincts. Their brain immediately activates a cascade of stress responses. Cortisol and adrenaline flood their system. Their sympathetic nervous system triggers, and their brain forms powerful associative memories linking you with the feeling of helplessness. Behavioral scientist Eileen Anderson documented this phenomenon through detailed case studies. Dogs who experience force restraint develop what she terms space pressure responses, heightened sensitivity to physical proximity and handling. These dogs begin showing subtle avoidance behaviors long before obvious signs of distress appear. You might notice the effects in seemingly unrelated contexts. Your dog may become increasingly reluctant to enter small spaces where escape feels limited. They might flinch slightly when reached for, even during affectionate moments. Some dogs develop mysterious aggression that appears unpredictable but actually stems directly from restraint-related trauma. The alternative approach builds trust rather than damaging it. For necessary handling, practice cooperative care, a method where your dog actively participates in their own care through positive reinforcement. This begins with simple consent-building exercises, offering a paw voluntarily for touching, then rewarding, gradually progressing to brief nail touches, then gentle holds, always with your dog's willing participation. This approach requires more initial time investment, but creates profound long-term benefits. Your dog learns that physical handling always remains within their control. Their brain forms positive associations with care procedures rather than fear responses. Most importantly, they maintain their fundamental trust in you as someone who respects their boundaries and never uses physical force to override their agency. The foundation of deep trust between you and your dog rests on this principle. Their body remains their own, and your strength will never be used against their will. This builds a relationship where cooperation flows from choice rather than fear. Number 3. The abandonment of environmental advocacy. You're walking your dog when a stranger approaches, clearly wanting to pet them. Your dog shows subtle signs of discomfort, leaning away slightly, licking their lips, ears flattening. The person coos, "All dogs love me," and reaches out. You feel socially pressured to allow the interaction, despite your dog's obvious discomfort. This scenario represents a profound betrayal from your dog's perspective. In their social structure, you hold the role of protector and environmental advocate. When you fail to intervene in uncomfortable interactions, you violated the most fundamental aspect of your relationship, the promise of protection. Research from Dr. Karen Overall at the University of Pennsylvania Veterinary School documents that dogs who experience repeated boundary violations with their owner's permission develop what she terms conflicted attachment patterns. These dogs show simultaneous signs of deep attachment alongside defensive behaviors and love their person but don't fully trust their protection. The neurological damage occurs through conflicting messages to your dog's brain. Their stress signals are evolutionarily designed to communicate discomfort to their social group, triggering protection. When these signals go unheeded by the very person they trust most, their brain forms confused associative pathways. They learn their communication is ineffective and their boundaries meaningless. You might notice the effects through gradually increasing reactivity. A dog who initially showed subtle discomfort may eventually escalate to growling or snapping because their earlier polite communications went unheeded. Some dogs develop seemingly paradoxical behaviors, seeking proximity while simultaneously showing stress signals, unable to resolve their conflicted needs for both connection and safety. Becoming your dog's advocate means learning to recognize and respect their communication. Subtle signals like head turning, paw lifting, or whale eye, showing the whites, deserve the same respect as obvious ones like growling. When you consistently honor these communications by creating space and setting boundaries with others, you build profound trust. Your dog needs to know with absolute certainty you see their discomfort and will always respond. This certainty forms the bedrock of deep security, allowing them to navigate the world confidently with you as their trusted protector. Number 2. The neurological cost of emotional contagion. You've had a terrible day. Stress radiates from your body as you move around the house, sighing heavily, perhaps slamming a drawer in frustration. Your dog watches silently from the corner, seemingly uninvolved in your emotional storm. Inside their brain, something remarkable and concerning is happening. Dogs possess a neurological capacity called emotional contagion, the ability to literally catch and process the emotions of those around them. Recent research from the University of Vienna documented that dogs exposed to human stress showed identical physiological stress responses. Their heart rates increased, cortisol levels rose, and their behavior patterns shifted to match their humans. Most striking, dogs cannot differentiate between stress directed at them and stress directed elsewhere. Their brains process all human emotional displays as potentially relevant to their safety. When you display chronic stress or volatile emotions, your dog's brain remains in a constant state of alertness, never fully able to relax. The damage accumulates through repeated exposure. Dogs living with emotionally volatile humans develop what veterinary behaviorists call ambient anxiety, a persistent state of low-grade stress that affects everything from sleep quality to immune function. Their brains essentially remain partially activated in fight or flight mode, never fully reaching states of deep rest. You might notice the effects through subtle behavior changes. Your dog may become a Velcro dog, following you constantly to monitor your emotional state. Some dogs develop hypervigilance, startling at small sounds or movements. Others show displacement behaviors like excessive licking or spinning when human emotions escalate. The solution isn't perfection or emotional suppression, rather conscious management of how you express feelings around your sensitive companion. Creating designated spaces where your dog can retreat during emotionally charged times helps them understand these emotions aren't threats. Pairing stressful moments with calm reassurance teaches your dog that human emotions don't predict danger. Most importantly, recognize your dog as an emotional being deeply affected by your internal state. When you experience difficult feelings, taking a moment to center yourself before interacting with your dog protects their neurological well-being. This awareness forms the foundation of emotional safety in your relationship. Number 1. The ultimate betrayal. Micro-abandonments. This final revelation might surprise even experienced dog owners. The research points to something so common, so seemingly innocent, that most of us do it daily without realizing its profound impact. Studies from Stockholm University revealed the single most psychologically damaging pattern for dogs, what researchers term micro-abandonments. These momentary disconnections occur when you initiate engagement with your dog, then abruptly redirect your attention elsewhere, often to electronic devices. The typical scenario looks harmless. You call your dog over enthusiastically, they rush to you with joy, and just as they arrive, you glance down at your phone. The interaction dies before it fully begins. From your perspective, a minor distraction. From your dog's perspective, a tiny heartbreak. The neurological impact works through a mechanism called intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful way to create addictive behavior patterns. Your dog's brain releases dopamine in anticipation of social connection, then experiences its sudden withdrawal. This creates a constant state of emotional uncertainty, more damaging than consistent neglect. Wren's 2017 study made a shocking discovery. Dogs experiencing frequent micro-abandonments showed higher stress markers than dogs receiving consistently minimal attention. The unpredictability of connection proved more harmful than predictable emotional distance. Dr. Suzanne Clothier documented the case of Chance, a dog whose relationship with his owner deteriorated not through cruelty, but through repeated micro-disconnections. The dog never developed aggressive behaviors, he simply stopped investing emotionally, maintaining physical proximity while becoming psychologically distant. The damage appears through subtle signals most owners never connect to their own behavior. Your dog may stop bringing toys for play. Their greeting when you return home might seem less enthusiastic. They may watch you from across the room rather than seeking close contact. These small shifts indicate a dog who has learned to protect their heart from repeated tiny rejections. The solution requires presence rather than perfection. When you engage with your dog, give them your full attention for that moment, even if brief. Put the phone down completely. Make eye contact. Be fully there for 30 seconds of genuine connection rather than 5 minutes of distracted half-presence. This pattern of reliable emotional availability rebuilds neural pathways based on trust rather than uncertainty. Your dog learns that while you can't always engage, when you do, you're fully present. This certainly allows them to relax into the security of your connection rather than constantly monitoring for potential abandonment. Your voice alone can change your dog's brain, and most people use it all wrong. This is why.